It is the WAVE 97.9 WHAV, and in the studio with me is State Inspector General Jeffrey Shapiro. And I call you Jeffrey or Jeff?
Jeff is fine.
Jeff, okay, nice to meet you. You are the second Jeffrey Shapiro that I've met in my lifetime.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the other one, I guess you're waiting for lunch, right?
We are. I do know him, and he mentioned to me that he was hoping to put 10 Jeff Shapiros together for lunch. I think I'm number 7, so I'm looking forward to that lunch.
Oh, it's going to be a great lunch. I bet it will. Well, thank you for visiting us this morning. Before you really get into the meat of your schedule, this is part of your monthly listening tour. So who else are you going to be listening to today?
It's great. It's great to be with you, and it's great to be back in Haverhill. I started my listening tour with former Haverhill Mayor Fiorentini. Was one of the very first as the Dean Mayor in the Commonwealth. So I was here very early in my tenure, which is almost 3 years ago. And then I met shortly after she took office with Mayor Barrett. So I've been to Haverhill a few times. And later today, I will be meeting with other local officials. We'll be in Newbury, I think Essex, and also we are going to be in I think Newbury, Essex, and I think Rockport is the 3 communities that we'll be visiting today. They're always so happy to hear from us.
Well, I imagine they would be. Newbury, that's Tracy Blaze, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Now, your role is being an independent, nonpartisan agency of the government, right?
Correct.
Okay. So what do you have to investigate or look into, or when you come around, or do people think that they're in trouble?
They generally have a queasy feeling, but are super polite when we call to reach out. I like to tell them that when we call in advance and I'm part of the group, that's usually the meeting they should take. I think that as an Inspector General, the office is most known for its investigations and its compliance work. We're charged by statute for looking for fraud, waste, and abuse of state and municipal resources. But in the almost 3 years that I've been Inspector General, I wanted to try to change the dichotomy. And really, the reason that I have these stakeholder meetings is that I'm not particularly looking for anything when we go out on these visits. What I am really looking to do is engage with our stakeholders. And I look at our approach, instead of being known for investigations and compliance, I think the better way to do it is to focus on engaging with our stakeholders, educating them on what it is that they can do correctly and how to do things correctly with procurement, governance, and other kinds of things that we are concerned with. And then as a last resort, we do investigations and compliance. And I think that sometimes that order has been in reverse, and I'm very much a proponent of prevention and intervention and really trying to make government work better tomorrow than it worked today.
I understand that you are offering some our communities a chance to become certified to do procurements and things like that.
Within our education space, we have a OIG Academy, and with that we offer a number of different trainings. Among our courses of study, we have a track that has to do with procurement, and within that track we offer 3 courses that when someone successfully completes that course, they can earn a certification, which in essence is a Massachusetts Certified Procurement Professional. Say that 5 times fast. And one of the pieces I like to talk with our local leaders is to make sure that their communities know about that they've taken advantage of it. For the last 2 fiscal years, we did a program where our office picked up the tuition cost for that for one person within each municipality across the Commonwealth, and we had about 70% of the communities participate, which I think was excellent. This year, we are doing one that's focused on education, school districts, charter schools, vocational schools, regional schools, and so we're trying to push that. I feel like I'm always a little bit in sales. Because that part of our office, we don't get an appropriation, so the tuition in essence pays for that part of our organization. In my tenure, we've really worked hard to grow it. We also have courses for the industry that works with government, so designers, architects, engineers. There are programs when they're doing construction projects that they can get some certifications as well, and that also helps fund some of our efforts in that space. And so we do an awful lot in that area, and I'm really proud of what we've been able to do there.
Well, going back, a portion of your job is the investigations. I'm sure you can't talk about anything that's ongoing, but can you give me examples of things that you've been able to help uncover in the past?
Sure. In the past, a few examples come to mind in the region that we're in. While it wasn't during my tenure, it certainly was the office that I am fortunate to lead. We wrote a significant report with regard to the Methuen Police Department and the contracts that in the report, which issued in 2020, I think really was a turning point for many other state agencies that did investigations, and also for the unraveling of those contracts, which for your listeners that may remember and for those that don't, one of the pieces that would have done would have made the police chief of Methuen, I think, the highest paid police chief in the country, more than the police commissioner in New York City, more than the Los Angeles police, and certainly people can make their own judgments as to the value of what it is to be a police chief. But that certainly at least caused pause, and more than pause, it resulted in a fairly lengthy report that our office issued. Another report, not quite in this area, but with municipal government, our office did the initial investigatory work and then made a referral with regard to the former mayor of Fall River, who is doing jail time now, and that was a federal case, and it had to do with extortion with regards to cannabis licenses in the community of Fall River. And that was a fairly significant case. It resulted in, I think he's doing maybe 6 years of federal time, and had to pay a fine and restitution in the neighborhood of $798,000 or $800,000. So that was a significant case. More recently, we have issued some public letters. The town of Barry, which is in Worcester County area, central part of the state, there was a DPW superintendent who, in addition to being the full-time superintendent, held 2 state jobs. He worked for the Mass Water Resource Authority as a heavy equipment operator, and he had a position with the Department of Fire Services. So we did write a report on that, and have required that town to take some significant actions in changing their oversight policies. So those are some examples of what we do. There are many others. I encourage your listeners to take a look at our website. If you go to mass.gov and then you look for the Inspector General's office, you'll find a link over there, and we put all of our reports and our letters up there. And I really think it's incredibly important for the public to know what we do, because in essence we are their eyes and their ears within government, and if they see something, we certainly are interested to have them notify us, call our hotlines. They can do it anonymously, or they can give their information. We have an 800 number, 800-322-1323, or an email of IGO-fightfraud@mass.gov, and certainly we encourage people to share tips, because some of our best cases have come from people that start out by saying, I'm not sure if this would mean anything, but... So we always are interested to hear about that. We have folks that are trained to be able to triage these things, and I would also let your listeners know, just because we might not be able to follow a tip, that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear about it or that it's wrong. What I talk often about with our team is, just because we can't pursue something doesn't mean that it's okay, or that it's not problematic behavior. It's because we have 100 people that work for us, and we have $10 million to work with, and we always have to set priorities and look at impact. And that's part of the reason that I am out in this part of the Commonwealth today, in Essex County, for much of today, visiting and talking with local officials and stakeholders to understand about how their interaction with us has been, how we can do things better, and how we can be more impactful.
So when you were named the Inspector General for the state, it was by a committee, right?
Correct. By statute, the Inspector General is an appointee of the governor, the Attorney General, and the auditor. I am appointed for a 5-year term, and I can stand for one reappointment, so it's a statutory maximum of 10 years. In October will be my anniversary of my 3rd year. So I at least have 2 more years. I'd love to have 7 more years, but that will be for those appointers to decide at a different point in time. But once appointed, I then don't report to those individuals. I then have authority as an independent agency head to lead and direct those 100 people, as I indicated. There's no oversight with regard to what we investigate or what we don't investigate. And the appointers also don't have authority to preview any reports or any letters or have any editorial control, which around the country is not always the case. There are many of my colleagues that are inspectors general in different types of situations, and many of them do have some pretty significant oversight.
So when you issue a report, do you have enforcement authority?
We are an investigatory agency. When that's an excellent question, and it's something that the public often asks us. It's also something that some of our more junior people in the office wrestle with. We are an investigatory agency. We have all the tools to be able to do a thorough and full investigation, including subpoena power, and there's a thing called the Inspector General's Counsel that if I want to bring somebody in for a deposition, I bring it to them and they decide if I'm able to do that so that there's some oversight. I don't have unfettered authority. However, we are not an enforcement agency. Sometimes in something that we believe violates a criminal statute, we do make referrals to law enforcement, or we have that ability. And ultimately, if they decide independently to pursue something, then there may be criminal penalties. Additionally, we can, in certain matters, go to court civilly. So there are some tools that we can use where there is an enforcement. But in other matters, really bringing something to light, writing about it, making sure the public is aware of it, making sure the local officials and those that oversee those areas of government, it matters. I would also add in local government, which is one of the spaces that we spend an awful lot of time, much of what they do is scrutinized also by outside audits. Any community that I think the threshold is $750,000 or more of federal dollars is required to have an outside audit. And many of the things that we can find that are problematic with how a community might operate are of interest to outside auditors and could be management letter types of issues, not to get too into the weeds on that kind of thing, but they can certainly have impact, so they're not the types of thing that somebody can just simply rip up our letter and tell us to pound sand, but they can have some impact in those communities.
Well, you've got a busy job, and you have a busy day, too.
I am incredibly fortunate when I have said to the governor, I've said to others, that I really do think that I have the best job in state government. Our authority is across all state agencies, not just the cabinet, which some state IGs are limited to the width of the governor's cabinet. We go well beyond that to quasi higher ed. We also have the municipalities. I'm the only state inspector general that also has municipal authority. So we go from topic to topic. We go from here to there. It's by far the greatest job, and I've had tremendous public sector jobs, and I've worked for unbelievably committed public servants. I love to go to work every day, and I look forward to meeting with the folks that we'll be with today. And as I said, we do this a couple of times a month, these full days out with our stakeholders. It energizes me, and I think that by hearing from others, it makes me a better inspector general. It's great to be in Haverhill this morning, and I look forward to my return visit.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll get you back. Don't worry about that. Inspector General Jeffrey Shapiro, our guest this morning. Jeff, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Wynn.
All right. And we'll take a look at the news coming up in just a moment or so, right here on the WAVE, 97.9 WHAV.
Wake up with Win Damon weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on 97.9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV.